Comes first, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
That snow behind us is pretty intense.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're heading out the door this morning, you're going to be dealing with some lake effect, some blowing snow. Roads not terrible, but not great either. So let's take a look at how they are looking right now. Look at the, oh my goodness, as I'm saying that, I look at the arterial, and you've got some pretty decent snowfall taking place right south of the Thruway in downtown Utica. You can see the main roads here, Genesee Street, New Hartford. We head down Route 5, Caroline Street in Herkimer, and up north in Boonville here. And this is a pretty common sight here. The roads are not entirely clear. You're going to want to take it slow if you drive into work this morning. Again, watch out for sudden whiteouts as the snow is blowing pretty good. There's some pretty strong winds at play here today. A look at Oriskany Boulevard. The roads, in fact, believe it or not, despite tricky travel yesterday, are actually better yesterday morning than they are this morning, with some of that snow already taking place right now. And again, a lot of this is due to that snow getting blown from surfaces back onto the road again. That's the tricky part of a windy situation here. So we have a busy radar here, and I'll try my best to explain it very simply. Basically, we have all these very narrow lake effect bands, intense bands, by the way. These are dark blues. In fact, there's one heading north into Boonville momentarily, now currently in Ava, just previously in Florence. There's one, in fact, impacting Route 20, heading towards Sangerfield. And overall, this is going to eventually form into into an isolated lake effect band as we progress throughout the morning. So again, early today, we're going to be tracking some of that lake effect snow beginning to form into a narrow band. We'll have the details on the snowfall forecast for today. We do have more lake effect expected tomorrow. We'll dive into that too in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome back. Time now, 5:11. We go from one tricky forecast yesterday to another, which would be today. So this forecast we're talking about is lake effect snow, and we'll dive into the basics you need to know if you're heading out the door early this morning in your forecast in a minute. First off, we look at the roadways right now. In fact, look at the current conditions. 23 with light snow in Rome, but a different story in downtown Utica. Look at the winds, 26-mile-an-hour winds. The winds are howling out there so far today. Feels like 6 degrees. Now, visibility has improved a little bit in downtown Utica, but you can see the snow still in the roadways. There was a very narrow band that passed through Utica moments ago, and a reminder on how narrow and sudden these conditions go from dry to near whiteout. See these dark blues here? Those are whiteout conditions. In fact, there was one that just moved through Utica. There's one impacting New Hartford, downtown New Hartford right now. So again, we're going to keep a close eye on this. Again, a reminder, we do have some slowdowns on the roadways. There's an accident that's reported here in the Thruway right now. So far, no closure though, but either way, just a heads up, you're going to be dealing with some lake effect snow today, strong winds, and temperatures in the 20s, wind chills in the single digits. We'll have a more detailed look at the amount of snow we're expecting coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Bundle up and drive slow.
Yes, that's the key.
Eric, thanks. More than $32 million will be spent.
Omni, we've got your back. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are tracking lake effect snow impacting road conditions across the area so far this morning. We'll take a look right now first at our snowfall forecast. Now, just to clarify, this is from last night to this evening. I was going to modify this map here, but since we're basically putting out a map every day, I don't want to confuse anyone with more changes to a map that still share our same thoughts on the forecast. So again, this is the expected snow from last night to this evening. And you can see here, we got a very narrow band included in the 6 to 9 inch range here, as that narrow setup will take place later on this morning in the early part of this afternoon. In the meantime, we have very narrow bands, making it tricky for very reliable forecasts inside some of them. Following that, we're going to have some lingering snowfall between Thursday evening or this evening until Saturday morning. And this mainly affects some of the hills north of the Mohawk Valley. So we look at the radar here and you can see it's quite a busy scene. We have very narrow but intense lake effect snow bands, most notable along Route 20 in Sangerfield and toward Ava, now affecting Boonville up north of the valley. But we're going to see more of this band right here. This one is going to be the one that survives in the long term as we head throughout the morning. But it is a windy one, to put it lightly, out there today. Wind speeds, not even wind gusts, 26 miles an hour in Rome, and still in the double-digit winds for much of the area. So far this morning, you notice how our skycast here doesn't really show all those narrow bands. Just as a bit of a transparency thing here, those bands are in some spots less than a mile wide. The resolution of our models here have less resolution than that. So in the meantime, some of these bands are just not being able to be modeled on our system here because of, again, how narrow they are. But the one that forms this afternoon can get picked up on the data sets here. And this one we're looking. Still, it could wobble north or south. That's the uncertainty here. We know it's forming. We know there's going to be a lot of snow inside the band. But when it shifts north, shifts south, it's going to eventually move its way south of our area overnight, and then more lake effect will return again north of the Mohawk Valley as we head into Friday. So just make sure you're weather aware today. A reminder, there could be some blowing snow in the hills of the area today. So just a heads up for that. Lake effect north on Friday, then snow showers arrive in the afternoon again on Saturday as this pretty busy pattern continues, Gary. We're now on day 4 of daily snowfall, and it's keeping us busy over here in the Weather Center.
And when does spring start?
Let's see. I'm going to do the countdown here. It's been a little bit ways away.
4 months. Yeah. The time right now is 5:22. Still ahead on Sun. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. Get ready to take your time this morning on your way to work. Eric, those lake effect bands can be sudden and pretty intense, as we saw earlier.
Yeah, that's right, Gary. In fact, here's a look at some of the conditions outside right now inside some of these bands. Let's take a look first at those roadways here this morning. And again, it's one of those mornings where, just personally, I drove on them about maybe an hour and a half, hour or so ago. They're not terrible, but you want to just drive carefully, drive slowly. Get to your destination late versus not getting there at all. That's what I always try to say on conditions like these. Heading up north, you see the roads completely covered in Boonville. Same thing in Herkimer. Roads a bit snowy in New Hartford, and same thing along the arterial. Now, the issue with today's snowfall is the winds are blowing pretty good. So all that snow from the side of the roads going right back on the road again once the plows go through. So, in fact, the plows just went through downtown Utica moments ago. Roads clearing up here along Risking Boulevard. But we look at the radar. Narrow, intense bands forming across the region. Let's zoom in up north. Boonville just got hit with some heavy snow right there. Still another one up near Ava and Florence. Heading south, Route 20, there's one that's heading through Sangerfield that is weakening. As we zoom out a little bit, there's a much more important thing we're looking at, which is the downwind effects here. This band here will be the one that survives, the one south of Utica. That's what we're tracking here today. And again, a very tricky forecast, just like yesterday. I know some of you got a little bit more snow than we were expecting, but the joys of elevation-based events. And today, well, lake effect, the monster of lake effect. So we're going to be tracking some of this strong wind, the lake effect snow. We'll have the latest snowfall maps for today, as well as additional lake effect tomorrow coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. On Wednesday, the U.S. seized an oil tank.
Omni, cutting-edge surgery without the cutting.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at sunrise on this Thursday. And, well, the set going to get a bit more bare starting tomorrow. I'm going to miss all these toys, but it's the final day of Stuff the Studio by this afternoon. These will all be headed to area kids in need who will enjoy some of these amazing toys donated by all of you. And again, you guys are the reason this takes place every year and the reason a lot of kids have smiles on their faces around the holiday season. So again, a big thank you to all of you who have been making this possible every single year. Our photo of the day today takes us to Rome, who saw a good amount of snow yesterday, enough to build a giant snowman. And I haven't really mentioned this when I was talking about winter photos, and I'm not sure why I haven't, because send in your snowmen. Send in your winter sculptures that you guys have been working on. We have more than enough snow in a lot of spots here in central New York, so go right ahead and showcase like what this one on Perry Street in Rome, a massive one here. You can send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. I'd love to showcase your creations, your kids' creations, shot them out. I'd love to give them credit too. So again, amazing photo right there. The radar right now is still picking up on some lake effect snow. We're going to dive into the totals and how long this lasts. Everything you need to know heading out the door in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A second round of heavy rain from an atmospheric river has moved into parts of the Northwest, with some states already dealing with major river flooding. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest this morning.
As an atmospheric river slams the Pacific Northwest, at least 18 locations in western Washington are predicted to hit major flood stage by Thursday. But a few of those could see their highest levels on record, especially along the Skagit and Snohomish rivers. Rising water from the Snohomish River forced rescues and evacuations, with some people leaving with their livestock and sheltering at Evergreen State Fairgrounds.
Just a lot of scrambling, trying to figure out the plans, what's up, who's doing what, the whole barn, what do we want to do.
The Red Cross was also ready to shelter people going through one of the most difficult moments in their lives.
I just want to be able to support them and help them get through that.
In Western Oregon, drone footage captured a flooded street in the downtown area of Tillamook. The city has seen over 6 inches of rain over the past 3 days. Rain will continue through Thursday as a second wave of the atmospheric river hovers over the state. Tillamook's fire district chief is asking people to not go through any standing water on roadways.
You don't know how deep the water is. If there's a lot of current, it could suck you off the roadway.
It also poses a risk for first responders when it comes to rescue operations.
They're stuck, and then it puts us in danger, us being the first responders. So from law enforcement to fire, it's a scary thing.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The time now is 5:40.
Weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are tracking some lake effect snow, a bit different than yesterday's system, and still both equally as tricky. Let's take a look outside in downtown Utica, where the roadways have since been plowed a few moments ago, but still you're going to want to budget some extra time if you head out in your morning commute. I would say expect to be driving maybe 30 miles an hour or less in some roads. Again, it's not that bad, but just take it carefully this morning. We have some slowdowns along the thruway on I-90 here. We have a couple of slowdowns in some other area roads here. And again, it's incredibly isolated with some of this lake effect snow taking place right now. Now, we are expecting this snow to become a bit more isolated today after more scattered bands are currently affecting us this morning. But this is the map here from last night to this evening. I figured I wouldn't confuse you guys by moving these colors here that already fell. Just in general, from last night to this evening, how much snow, additional snow, would you see on the ground? So this is for today. For tomorrow, we have some additional lake effect, and this will take place mainly in areas to the north and mainly impacting Tug Hill here as well. So the live look at the radar, we have some scattered lake effect, more notably a band up in northern Oneida County and areas south. But I want to zoom out a little bit because we are starting to see where this band is beginning to form. And the one we were tracking this afternoon. We've got the Georgian Bay here moving its way south with this influence, and this band right here currently impacting the border of Madison, Otsego, Shenango, and Herkimer counties. Right there is where we're seeing that snow move in. Winds remaining very strong today, already at 25 miles an hour in Rome. And again, we're going to see that snow really begin to form in a more narrow, isolated band here this afternoon, impacting this zone right here. There is some uncertainty as to how far north it will wobble. See this here, it might move into Utica. That's the biggest uncertainty here. We know the snow is coming here in this band. We know it's going to last for pretty much the entire evening. We know the general idea of how much snow that band can see, but the only unknown is, how far north or south it will shift. Not a whole lot, but the difference of a few miles means everything here locally when it comes to the amount of snow you have at your house or your work or wherever. Then Friday, you see that snow in central and northern Oneida County continuing to shift its way more north as we head overnight through Saturday. So your 7-day forecast, it's windy today. We have additional lake effect tomorrow. More snow chances on Saturday. So my goodness, Gary, we have been kept very busy here in the Weather Center. Still we have more snow to look forward to this weekend, and eventually once we hit winter time we'll see how that shapes up too. But definitely very healthy snowpack for snowmobilers, skiers, and those who like to build snowmen. Yeah,
and that snowman that you had was a pretty big one.
Yes, very impressive.
What a
build
great
there.
picture. Yeah. Eric, thanks. Well, whether it's buying a new home.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Things have seemed to quiet down. Those bands, they're quick in and out.
Yeah, before you know it, it's white out, then it's quiet again. It's a story today. And look at the current conditions out there right now on the roads. And a reminder with this type of setup here. So yesterday's forecast was tricky mainly because we had rain or a wintry mix working its way in. Today, well, it's too cold for that, but it's lake effect, so that's a monster of its own. Either way, here's a look at roads this morning. They're not that bad, but you're going to want to drive carefully. Drive slowly heading out to work this morning. So the roads slowly getting plowed here, but again, the wind is the factor blowing a lot of the snow back on the roads again after they've been plowed, and that's the case in a lot of higher elevations early today. A look at the radar. Now, the bands themselves are a lot weaker than they were about an hour ago. See these darker blues? Not a whole lot more of them right now, but still we are seeing some of them move through the area. We zoom out, in fact, zoom in a little bit, we can actually see some of these darker blues again beginning to fade away, especially up near Boonville. Route 20 might have some slowdowns there, but again, that snow has tapered off a little bit. We zoom out, and we can see that we're starting to see some influence downwind of multiple Great Lakes here, and this is the band we're tracking that's going to survive. A lot of these other narrow bands are going to weaken for the most part and not really exist by the afternoon except just one major one. So we'll, of course, dive into that forecast here coming up in a few minutes about the timing of that snow band, how long it lasts, how much snow we could see inside of it. And beyond that, we're going to see the arrival of more lake effect snow tomorrow in different areas. We'll track that coming up in just a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. The Oneida County Sheriff.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Thursday. What a day yesterday was travel-wise, and well, we have more snow moving in today, but a different monster of its own. This time it's lake effect, and we'll have a look at what you can expect here in your forecast in a minute. 22 degrees the temperature with snow showers in Rome. Winds 22 miles an hour. That feels like temperature sits at 6 degrees this morning. So you're going to want to bundle up if you're heading outside today. Downtown Utica, so it looks like Oriskany Boulevard, the roads have improved tremendously compared to earlier this morning. But it depends on location. Look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar. We have some narrow bands here in the northern section of our area as well as south. This zone right here is what we're tracking for more sustained snowfall as we head throughout the day today. Traffic flow, we got some slowdowns here, some yellows and even some oranges along Route 20. And then, of course, as you head between Utica and Rome, and, of course, roadways up Route 26, Route 8, maybe not so much Route 8, but mainly Route 28 up there. But either way, today's weather, pretty chilly, windy, and that lake effect snow. We're going to talk about the snowfall totals and even more snow we could be expecting tomorrow coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It's no secret the snow conditions, and that's why the DOT has a few things for drivers to keep in mind as their fleet of snow plows work to get the roads cleared. News Channel 2's Nolan Hyman talked to the DOT about what drivers should watch out for.
When winter weather comes, the State Department of Transportation makes sure they can answer the call. The salt you see here is getting loaded up on the trucks as the Department of Transportation gets ready to clear the winter roads. And the DOT wants to make sure travel is safe for everyone.
They're out 24/7. Our crews are out 24/7 to maintain the roads safely. We just ask that people pay attention to us when we're out there and don't crowd the plow. Please give us room to maneuver and keep a good safe distance between yourself and other vehicles as well.
They want to remind drivers to stay safe by staying aware.
Motorists should be driving for the conditions that they're in. So that usually means in a day like today, you need to slow down. Your braking is going to be slower. You need to have control of your vehicle in any conditions.
Also, be wary when driving near a snowplow, even if you're running late on your commute.
And allow themselves extra time to arrive at their destination safely so they're not stressed and don't feel the need to pass a plow, which is very dangerous. The safest place to be is actually behind the plow. Those are the best road conditions you're going to encounter in your commute.
If you go out and still see snow on the roads, it doesn't mean the DOT isn't coming, as plows take at most 2.5 hours on a single beat to make sure the roads are clear.
People do need to understand that if they haven't seen a plow in an hour, they are coming. The plow is coming back, but everyone needs to allow ample time and know that we're out there doing the best we can to keep the roads as safe as possible.
So just remember, the snow makes the roads risky for any driver. Reporting from the Mohawk Valley, Nolan Hyman, News Channel 2.
The time now.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are tracking some lake effect snow. Our busy stretch of snowy weather continues. Now we're on day 4. We look at downtown Utica right now. Roads have improved in some low-lying areas here. Obviously, side roads a bit snowy, and less traveled roads, hilltop roads, obviously are going to be still a bit snow covered early this morning. We look at the roadways early today, some slowdowns, not that bad. I do want to clarify today, today's roads are not as bad as yesterday's roads, but it's the blowing snow, sudden reduced visibility that could be a bit of a concern early today. So let's first talk about the snow we are expecting today. Keep in mind, this map is from last night until this evening. So anything that already fell will be included in this map here just as a heads up. So just to avoid any confusion, we're putting on a lot of snowfall maps, and it's not going to help to put on another one for the same type of event we're seeing this morning. So again, this takes place till this evening. We have more snow on the way tomorrow. This is more of an northern area effect here. Central Oneida County and even areas north, we might move some of these zones here a little bit. But a reminder, if you are not exactly in some of these zones here, you got to offer some grace in some of these maps here, because again, to pinpoint This area only sees 4 inches, and that's that. This area only sees 4 to 7, and that's that. There's flexibility with these maps. Obviously, you know how Mother Nature is, and this is just an idea of the impacts and the rough estimates of snowfall expected in parts of these areas, because the actual data output for snowfall is a bit more complicated to see on maps, because there's a lot of colors, a lot of locations that see shadows of hills, and you name it. Radar showing scattered lake effect snow showers so far today, but we're seeing this multi-lake connection starting to form here. And our thoughts are this initial band will be setting up right along the Madison-Oneida County line and the Herkimer-Otsego County line right there as we head throughout the day today. Along with strong winds, of course, we're going to see that lake band really begin to organize, and the models here really pick up on it well by this afternoon, really starting to form here. There's some uncertainty as to how far north it goes. It might wobble into the Utica area briefly before heading back south again. That means that, again, there are some uncertainties as to exactly where that 3 to 6 inch snow range goes. So, again, when we mention the grace period or the grace zones with lake effect snow, that's what we mean. Tomorrow, much of that snow will fall north of Utica, central to northern Oneida County there, and then continue its way farther north before eventually exiting central New York. But we do have some more opportunities for snow showers Saturday afternoon as this busy stretch of weather continues on. So again, today, roadways not that bad, but just drive carefully, drive slowly. You should be okay getting to work if you do those two things.
And if you encounter those whiteouts, definitely need to slow down.
Yes, the visibility rapidly reduced in some of those.
Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, our social. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. Well, get ready to take your time this morning on your way to work. Eric, it seems like those lake effect bands, they just pop up out of nowhere, get intense, and then they're gone.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the case in parts of our area this morning. Let's take a look at the roadways, because I do want to mention a few spots here. So the arterial, yes, there's still some snow on it, but the arterial is a lot more on the cleaner side right now in terms of road conditions. I've been looking at a lot of area cameras, road conditions, all reports coming out this morning. Here's a look at plowed but still snowy roads in Boonville. Same thing in New Hartford. Herkimer getting their fair share of snow again, so the roads, again, a little bit snowy out there. Look at downtown Utica. Main roads, they're plowed, they are treated, but still, you got some of those side roads that are a bit difficult to drive on. So there's that band moving through Herkimer and the Mohawk Valley right now. See how narrow that is? You head off the thruway and outside the town limits of Herkimer, and there's no snow. So to go show you how narrow some of these bands are. But we're going to be focusing more on this one here, as that one really starts to form a bit more intense as we head throughout the morning. So snow showers up north are weakening. Same thing farther south, with the exception again of this band, which is likely impacting the Route 20 area today. When we zoom out, we can see the overall convergence starting to form here with that single band. So today, depends on location in terms of how much lake effect snow you'll see. We have that map coming up in a few minutes. Plus, we have additional lake effect snow expected tomorrow, and even more snow on Saturday. We'll dive into that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. We are following some breaking news out of Ilion this morning.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at sunrise on this Thursday. Well, it's bittersweet today. These are all the toys donated by all of you to our Stuff the Studio campaign. It's our final day here with all these toys. This afternoon, they're going to get shipped all away and ready to end up under the Christmas tree with a lot of local kids who are going to be so happy to see all of these toys. And again, a huge thank you to all of you for brightening a lot of Christmases, a lot of holidays. And again, it's a great thing. This happens every year, and the generosity of Central New York is unmatched. So again, this will be going to a better place to make sure kids get all the toys they want this Christmas time. Our photo of the day today takes us to Rome, who got their fair share of snow yesterday. Look at this right here, a giant snowman on Perry Street. And amazing shot right here, and a reminder in this winter time, there's plenty of snow to spare. Send in your snowman, your winter sculpture, your kids' winter sculpture. I'd love to spotlight some of the amazing artists we have around the area. Send to WKTV.com/weather/pigs. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Being heart healthy is a...
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today's weather, tricky, just like yesterday for forecasting, that is, but we'll give you guys an update on our thoughts on the conditions today. Let's first start off with a look at road conditions this morning, and it largely depends on where you are. Now, of course, a lot of crews out there this morning hard at work, but, of course, some of the snow and wind falling faster than, of course, a limited number of people can go out to them, so some of the roads are still going to be a bit snow covered this morning. A reminder, just drive slowly and carefully. I always say it's better to arrive late than not arrive at all. So just drive according to the road conditions you're currently driving through. So today's weather, unlike yesterday. Yesterday we had slushy snow and it was pretty steady. Today is going to be on and off, no snow, sudden blowing whiteouts, then no snow again. But the main thing here is we're going to start to see a lot of these narrow snow bands really begin to fade away and a more narrow band setting up right here south and west of Utica. And this is all due to a multi-lake connection here. Basically, the Georgia Bay over here is going to be providing us with that downstream moisture. It's going to set up, at least initially, mainly along the Madison-Oneida County line. So in the meantime, right now, roads not that bad. Again, you just drive slowly, you'll get there. Syracuse, a lot of bad roadways out there early this morning. But either way, how much snow are we expecting? There's that narrow band. And again, it could shift north or south. If you're wondering exactly how much your snow you're going to see on this map here, a reminder that this minor variability here could mean all the difference. But we know there's going to be this amount of snow inside that band. This is again from last night through this evening, just to not confuse or overcomplicate the maps here. But we know the snow is coming. We know there's a lot of snow inside that band. There's uncertainty as the exact placement. There's more snow tomorrow, mainly north of the Mohawk Valley here. You can see the hills in the Adirondacks and the higher elevations in the North Country, expecting that tomorrow. Winds a bit strong, over 20 miles per hour in the valley. And again, you can see some of these narrow bands here really starting to form into an isolated lake effect snow band this afternoon. It might wobble into the Utica area for maybe an hour or so. Again, road conditions could suddenly deteriorate. That's the concern today. Then that snow band weakens. It re-strengthens again north of the Mohawk Valley tomorrow in the central Oneida County and farther north, and then eventually continue its way into Tug Hill and then outside of our area in Jefferson County by Saturday night into Sunday. But we still have some more snow showers on the way Saturday, or excuse me, last thing I mentioned was Friday night to Saturday. Saturday we have more opportunities for scattered snow showers in the afternoon. So a pretty busy stretch of weather here, but a reminder again today, just drive according to the road conditions. If you see snow on the road, just drive slowly. Most accidents, usually speed could be a factor in the road conditions, so just drive carefully.
Yeah, those bands are pretty tough. They come in and then they leave pretty quick.
Sudden visibility loss too.
Yeah. Eric, thanks. Well, whether it's buying a new...
With Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And quite the morning of lake effect snow, and it's continuing, right?
Yeah, some of parts of our area still looking at near whiteout conditions, not great travel in a few isolated spots. Let's take a look at our tower cam, because I want to show you guys. So here's our vantage point. We're facing the south, by the way. So this is our tower cam up on Smith Hill. We're in Deerfield, so we're a little north of North Utica here. And to the edge is New Hartford, or South Utica, way out in the distance here. You notice it's quiet here, a lot of snow happening out in the distance there, and that's the case with the conditions so far today. So you look here, Boonville, roads not too bad. North Utica, roads not too bad. You head south, a different story. Herkimer, you guys are getting slammed with snow right now. Same thing in parts of New Hartford, some just consistent lake effect snow. And we look at the radar right now, it's still a multi-band setup, but as we mentioned, we are going to see this form into an isolated band in the next few hours. Let's press play here. Let's see how this is shaping up right now. So again, we have a few heavier bands down south. Let's zoom in right here. This one appears to be producing heavy snow between Sherburne and Norwich along Route 12, Edmiston out toward Morris, and now heading toward Milford south of Cooperstown right now. But overall, you see this happening right here? Multi-lake connection. This is going to start lining up right here along the Madison-Oneida County line where that heaviest snow is expected to move in. In the case of roadways, Route 20, some slowdowns. Route 12, some slowdowns here. Sections of Route 8. Just a heads up, you head farther south, you got some tricky travel here so far this afternoon. We're going to talk about our latest thoughts on snowfall potential today as well as tomorrow, coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Residents of Ilion woke up this morning.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
I just saw on the tower cam that snow is inching its way northward. One of those situations we're in right now with some of these scattered lake effect snow bands. Bigger picture right here. Radar and satellite shows that we're starting to see this multi-lake setup begin to move in. This is the Georgian Bay here. And watch as you see this blue starting to connect here. This band, it's going to extend mainly along the Madison-Oneida County line. Let's zoom into the radar here. This band right here is where it's going to really start to organize along the Route 20 corridor. Yes, we still have a few areas of snow showers, some heavy snow mixing in with some of these bands here as well. But again, the more notable band is going to be falling generally south of Utica as we head throughout the day today. Roadways. You can see here between, I would say, Mohawk and Little Falls, you got some slowdowns in those hills, those trouble spots along the thruway. Route 12, also a trouble spot. Got some reduced visibility in some of those sections there. And Route 20, if you guys have to, I do recommend finding different routes versus traveling east or west along Route 20 if you have to. Because again, that's where much of this snow is going to set up for the day today. In fact, here is our additional snowfall map. I decided, you know what, I'm going to make it simplified from this afternoon, right now, until Friday morning. And you can see here, there's quite a bit of a difference depending on where your location is. Either way, you head up north, a lot less, head down south. This zone right here where this band really starts to organize is where we're expecting that most amount of snow to take place. Again, this will produce windy conditions and the snow continues overnight. The band slightly wobbles north and south. Then our attention goes to tomorrow. This is what we've spent a good amount of time this morning on creating this map here. This is our pretty much general consensus thoughts on what happens tomorrow with that lake effect. Notice here, Rome and Utica, see how it's basically along the border here? North Rome and North Utica will see different snow totals than South Utica and South Rome. That's the difference maker in this event here. There are incredible differences in snowfall based off the span of a few miles. So again, this is the latest thoughts here. Areas near Camden, up north near Florence, that's where we're thinking the bullseye is going to be tomorrow. So this band still continues this afternoon. It slowly weakens and shifts south tonight. And then by tomorrow, it reorganizes, mainly in central Oneida County, initially in the morning, continuing to sweep its way north, eventually northern Oneida County, and then it will progressively weaken as we head into the overnight hours into early Saturday. Then Saturday, we have more snow chances, maybe a squall in the afternoon. So needless to say, it's a very busy stretch of weather. We're going to see these snow chances again today and tomorrow, largely dependent on location. And then Saturday, still have that snow as well. And then we're going to cool down a little bit Sunday night, and then we're going to see a bit of a quiet stretch, a maybe more than welcome quiet stretch for a lot of folks that are anticipating what the weather's going to be like every 5 minutes with all this lake effect we're seeing. So
maybe a break for those plow drivers too coming up.
Yes, too. If I finally get a vacation here and there.
Eric, thanks. Today, thousands of residents in the state of Washington are facing evacuations due to rising floodwaters. The governor there has declared a state of emergency and said, quote, catastrophic flooding is likely. NBC's Camilla Bernal is in Snohomish, Washington with the latest.
This is what a lot of people in Western Washington are having to deal with: flooded streets, homes, and businesses. In fact, the businesses on this street are all flooded. We talked to one business owner who said he's at least under 2 feet of water. He was here to watch as that water rose. He tried to get everything out, or as much as he could, out of his business, but says that at this point, all he can do is wait and hope that the water doesn't reach his power outlets and everything else that he's trying to keep out of the water. Now, we know that right now 5 million people are still under flood alerts. The governor, of course, declared a state of emergency, activated the National Guard, and even though the intensity of the rain could decrease throughout the day, the concern remains the rising rivers in this state, because what we are seeing now is the effects of those rising rivers, but maybe outside of the riverbanks. Officials telling people to be ready to go at a moment's notice. We have seen crews working around the clock. There were some rescues and some people who had to be told to leave their homes. Others are still under those evacuation warnings, but nonetheless, officials just telling people to be ready to go at a moment's notice, to be careful when driving. There was at least one mudslide yesterday. Portions of the highway closed. So officials just telling people to be vigilant, to be on high alert. Because the rivers have not crested to their highest potential yet, people still need to be on high alert. Back to you.
NBC's Camila Burnell reporting from Washington. Coming up for the third time this year, meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, on some of your cameras, we've seen whiteouts this morning.
Yeah, that's right. We actually see it from our vantage point here in the tower cam. You can see behind us, there's some clearing here, but then some snow in Utica. Let's dive into the current conditions as we head down into parts of the valley. The arterial in Utica, look at that. You got some snow-covered roads there. We have some snow-covered roads in Herkimer, but the sun is starting to shine out there, and of course that's the tale of today. We've got very narrow lake bands, and between that, of course, you got potential whiteout conditions. The outlier here, those you up in Boonville, in the North Country, you guys are pretty much in the clear for much of the snowfall today. So if you're wondering, are you going to be travel impacts today up north? Well, aside from some narrow bands, weaker bands moving through, you guys are not going to see a whole lot of notable snowfall today. As we look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar, a couple of things to mention. For one, there's a very strong band heading between Milford and I-88 right now. There could be some sudden whiteouts along the highway there. We zoom out, we are starting to see this multi-lake connection really begin to form here. It's going to set up mainly right along the Madison-Oneida County line, right here. See this band that's forming? This will be the one that's going to overcome all the rest of these smaller ones due to, again, the strong winds today. So roadways this morning, turning into this afternoon, same conditions here. Route 12, sections of Route 20, and the South Utica, New Hartford area. If you have to travel today, east or west, I recommend finding other roads besides Route 20, especially this afternoon when the snow band strengthens. So again, we'll have more details on the amount of snow, what we're expecting tomorrow, and a preview of Saturday and this weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Utica Police are
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are continuing to track lake effect snow passing over central New York. Let's take a look right now at the radar and satellite. Our main thing we're tracking here is the multi-lake connection of the Georgian Bay here, which basically is that little spin-off of Lake Huron connecting with Lake Ontario. And it forms, let's see if I can draw this right here. It forms a line. Looks like I'm not being able to draw it. Let's see if I can draw. Here we go. It's drawing a line. Well, maybe not directly through Utica, but you get the point here. It's basically a multi-lake connection. You can start to see some of that beginning to move in right there. Live look at the radar. Again, several narrow but intense lake effect snow bands. The one we're closely watching is right here, passing through the Route 20 area. That's the one we were expecting to strengthen later today. Still, it's going to take a while. A lot of these bands are very narrow. You need a good push in the convergence here to our west in order to force that snow to really move into one band. Road conditions, a little bit more improved compared to a little bit ago, but we got some slowdowns down south near I-88 with that sudden squall down there, too. So in the meantime, today, this is what we are expecting in terms of additional snowfall between this afternoon through tomorrow morning. So this is a longer duration type forecast here. And areas in this zone here, 6 to 9 inches. This is if that band begins to organize. We're waiting for it right now, and still there's a few narrower minor bands. So again, this is the outcome if it does begin to reorganize. Tomorrow, we're going to start to see that band reorganize again north of the Mohawk Valley. And this took a lot of our morning today trying to pinpoint this map here. Where our thoughts are, we have that snow difference here between North Rome and North Utica and South Rome and South Utica. So you see here 5 to 10 inches in the dark blue, 2 to 5 inches as you head farther down. So again, there's a huge difference in snowfall totals depending on where you are, even in the same city. So it's a heads up for that. So today that band continues to shift its way south. This evening and tonight it begins to weaken and then reorganizes again as we head into the early afternoon hours tomorrow. I should say maybe the mid to late morning hours, and then continuing to shift its way even more north, eventually producing some snowfall extending into Lewis County overnight into early Saturday. Then we're going to see snowfall from a clipper system Saturday morning, then a potential snow squall Saturday afternoon as a band of snow turns to even more lake effect, this time in the Tug Hill area overnight into Sunday. So, needless to say, it's a pretty busy stretch of weather here. We've got snow showers so far today, tomorrow, even on Saturday, lingering spots in our area on Sunday, and then we're going to quiet down a little bit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But here we are, Gary. It's been quite the late fall, and winter just a few days away.
Well, winter's been here for a while for me. Eric, thanks. An investigation is
with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
Wicked weather closed or delayed a lot of schools for the second day in a row, this time for lake effect. And it's not over yet.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis is tracking from the Weather Center. I've lost track of how many days it's been.
Me too. Yeah, we're tracking some accumulation. The totals I've been getting so far, I haven't gotten a chance to put together a list, but I will. Roughly about 3-4 inches, so it wasn't quite as robust as what we dealt with yesterday in spots, but we are talking about lake effect, and it's the wind today that is making things more difficult. That is having a higher impact. Bands of snow continue across the Mohawk Valley and points north. We're expecting additional snowfall. We just took this all the way through Saturday morning rather than showing multiple snow maps. We're just combining this here for the remainder of this event. And it looks like the heaviest snow will be falling north of the Mohawk Valley, as much as 5 to 10 inches through Saturday morning. 20 degrees, light snow, it's frigid. That west wind at 10 miles an hour. As we head into this evening, temperatures will remain in the teens, lake effect snow. And again, some tricky travel will continue with gusty winds and poor visibility. We're tracking that band, and we'll let you know how that plays out through the weekend. And look at the forecast that's coming up. Kristen, back to you.
The Oneida County Sheriff's Office has identified.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're tracking lake effect snow that is continuing to impact travel across central New York. The bands are generally in and north of the Mohawk Valley this evening. It's a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The stronger bands are extending into areas like Rome to Utica. And again, this is right along Route 49, so it's having a pretty big impact on local travel, especially along the highways. This is also impacting the Thruway and just north of the Thruway. Also, additional snow bands are impacting the northern half of the county. West Branch, Point Rock, Remsen, getting some heavy snow along with Hinckley. This is going to continue as we head into tonight, and we will see this lake effect snow continue into tomorrow as well as tomorrow night. Totals today not quite as high as what we saw yesterday. 6 inches in Ava, Deansboro 4 inches, Utica picking up 3.8 inches, Sequoia 3 inches, Whitesboro 2.5 inches, and New Hartford with 2 inches. But it is enough to cause slippery spots on the roads, and with the wind, with gusts between about 35 to 40 miles an hour, it is causing visibility issues. This is a look at various web cameras from 511newyork.org, and you can see that driving is being impacted in many areas, getting some slush on the roads. And again, it's something you'll be contending with this evening. We take a live look at our traffic tracker. We're seeing a decent amount of orange, again, right where that band is along Route 49 between Rome and Utica. Again, it's not just the snow, but it's the poor visibility that's slowing down drivers this evening. This is going to continue tonight through tomorrow, but I think by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, things will get better. The difference between today and tomorrow is that band of lake effect snow, the position of it. Looks like it's going to be a little bit further north compared to where it is today. So we look at the bigger picture, we're tracking lake effect snow. That northwest wind is going to continue overnight. Snow continues tonight, especially in and north of the Mohawk Valley. Temperatures will drop down into the teens. This lake effect band is just going to linger. It's not going to be really heavy, but it's just going to add up over the course of time, positioning itself generally across central and northern Oneida County, extending into Herkimer County. This will very slowly wind down tomorrow night. It will lift to the north. We do have some light snow to contend with on Saturday as well. But let's talk about what we can expect for the rest of tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night. Again, that band of lake effect snow primarily setting itself up across central and northern Oneida County. An additional 5 to 10 inches of snow. This looks to be just north of Utica and just north of Rome, but it's really close here. Some of the heavier bands in the northern part of the county in the Tug Hill could produce 10 inches or more of snow. And then as you head south, especially south of the Route 20 corridor, you'll be staying away from this for the most part, only a trace to 2 inches of accumulation expected. Snow showers tonight, low temperature of 12. Lake effect snow tomorrow, 25 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Light snow on Saturday, 28. Lake effect snow Sunday. That lingers into early Monday. It's cold. Temperatures will be in the teens and single digits at night. Cloudy skies Tuesday and Wednesday. And looking ahead, a little bit of a warm-up here. Temperatures climb into the low 40s by this time next week.
It's like shorts weather.
Yeah.
For some people who work here, it probably is.
That's not wrong. All right, thank you, Bill. Around America.
Bill knocks over the toys. Are you okay?
I'm trying not to knock over the toys here. We'll do the best we can. Yeah, we're talking about snowfall. In fact, today we hit a milestone. Utica surpassing 30 inches of snow on the season, measuring 3.8 inches in the city. There was actually more snow today than yesterday for the city of Utica. This puts us 19 inches above average. We are way, way above average. You've got to go back to the early 2000s for such an early start to the snow season. And we're continuing to see snow. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Bands of snow will continue as we head into this evening, tonight, tomorrow, and even into tomorrow night. The cold weather is going to be sticking around. In fact, it's going to get colder as we head into the second half of the weekend. Sunday and Monday, temperatures only climb into the teens. If you're taking the dog out for a walk this evening, just watch your footing. We've got some snow and it's slippery. Temperatures will be in the teens, and it's also windy and cold. Tonight's featured dog is Luna from Springfield. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. It looks like there's still time.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We continue to track lake effect snow that's impacting travel across central New York. The bands today have set up in multiple fashions. We call this multi-banding. And the reason why that happens is because the winds are strong and we have a lot more what we call wind shear in the environment. And instead of one very heavy band, you have multiple bands that are typically weaker. And by weaker, I just mean they're narrower compared to a single band of lake effect snow, which tends to be a lot wider. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you're traveling this evening, expect very rapidly changing conditions. When you get into that band, it could be coming down very heavy with near whiteout conditions, and then you can leave that band very quickly too, and the roads can and road conditions can improve. As we look at the general direction of these. They're pretty much situated across the Mohawk Valley in North Country, and that's where they will stay as we head into the course of tonight as well as tomorrow. This lake effect is just going to linger around through Friday night. As far as traveling goes, again, a lot of snow-covered roads, poor visibility, take your time. Conditions are a lot better south of the Mohawk Valley compared to north of the Mohawk Valley. Roads will remain slushy. And taking a live look at our traffic tracker, still plenty of orange to be seen between Rome and Utica underneath that steadier band of snow. Travel will continue to be impacted throughout the next 24 hours. Again, that lake effect snow will be hanging around. Things get better Friday nights, and we do get a break in the snow, at least a temporary break, by early Saturday before the next weather system comes in. Our Skywatchers measuring snowfall today. Kirsten in Whitesboro, 3 inches. Bob in Clinton, 3.5 inches. Mike in New Hartford with 2 inches. Temperatures are cold. It's already down to 9 degrees in Old Forge, 10 in Inlet. And across the southern valleys, little snow today. Skidivas, 18 degrees. Cooperstown with 15. Again, that band of lake effect snow is going to just be very persistent. The wind direction doesn't change very much here over the next 24 hours. And again, that band of snow stays in and north of the Mohawk Valley overnight. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, bands of snow north of the valley that will continue to impact travel throughout most of the day. It will meander north and south from time to time, but this is the general position of it. Snow will eventually wind down Friday night, at least temporarily. Guess what? The next weather system on the way is another clipper. Won't be as robust as what we saw on Wednesday, but it's the same thing. Widespread snow followed by a cold front, followed by lake effect snow heading into Sunday. This pattern is very much repeating itself as we head into the weekend. Snowfall totals. We're taking this all the way through Saturday morning. From here on out, we're thinking a general 5 to 10 inches of snow for the northern half of Oneida County. This is just north of Utica, and this cuts Rome pretty much in half here. So if you live in the northern side of the city, you're on the higher side here. Heading towards Camden, Ava, the Tug Hill, 10 inches or more possible. And then south of Route 20, very little accumulation is expected. Snow showers tonight, low temperature of 12. Tomorrow, lake effect snow primarily in and north of the Mohawk Valley, 25. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Snow showers widespread late Saturday. Lake effect snow Sunday lingers into Monday. It's cold, temperatures in the teens. Next week, the weather finally changes. It's still cloudy, but it warms up. 35 Wednesday. We're into the low 40s with rain showers by next Thursday. We'll be right back.
News with Kristen Copeland and Jason Powers.
We'll get to those stories in just a minute, but the latest on this pretty but tough to navigate snow globe that we've been living in the past 2 days.
That's a very good way to put it. What's in store for the rest of the night, though? And even coming into the weekend? Let's go right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
The snow is not going to stop. It's going to continue. It's going to be localized here for the next 24 hours. Let's show you what has fallen today. The numbers are not as high as spots yesterday, but again, it depends on where you live. Ava, 6 inches of snow. Utica actually did get more snow today compared to yesterday, 3.8 inches for the city. Sequoia, 3 inches. New Hartford, 2 inches. The big difference today, the wind. That's created a lot of blowing and drifting snow and whiteout conditions at times. We're continuing to track lake effect snow. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The bands are primarily along and north of the New York State Thruway, and that will be the case heading into tonight. From here through all the way to Saturday morning, we're expecting the bulk of the accumulation to happen north of the Mohawk Valley, an additional 5 to 10 inches of accumulation. Again, this is all the way through Saturday morning. Temperature 20 degrees, the wind from the west making it feel like 11. Conditions don't change very much here heading into tonight and tomorrow. That lake effect snow will continue, especially north of the valley. We're taking a look at additional snow chances as we head into the weekend. And look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We continue to track lake effect snow that will move through central New York. It's going to linger around and be incredibly stubborn for the next 24 hours. We're expecting this band to just hold steady and produce snow over the course of time. The steadiest snow looks to be in and north of the Mohawk Valley. We're getting multiple bands of this tonight too, and this has to do with the wind being so strong. These bands are what we call multi-band lake effect snow. We should see this consolidate into one singular band heading into late tonight and early tomorrow. It is continuing to impact roads. This is a look at travel across central New York. Roads are slushy. The winds are making things difficult too. Windy conditions are blowing around some of that snow, reducing visibility. Still plenty of orange showing up on our traffic tracker, especially between Rome and Utica along Route 49. And travel will continue to be impacted as we head into tonight, tomorrow morning, and tomorrow afternoon. Things get a little bit better tomorrow night, but we should get a break in this early Saturday before the next weather system approaches as a clipper Saturday night. We went over 30 inches for the city of Utica, 33.4 inches of snow to date on the season. We are 19 inches above average. Skywatchers checking in. Snowfall totals, temperatures, Whitesboro 3 inches of snow, Micah New Hartford 2 inches, Bob and Clinton 3.5 inches of snow. Temperatures in the teens across the Mohawk Valley, Paynes Hollow 15, and Cooperstown, Stewart checking in with 15 degrees. Bigger picture shows a steady northwest wind will continue lake effect. And again, this continues tonight and tomorrow. The wind direction favors areas along and north of the New York State Thruway as we head into Friday. So if you're traveling north, this is where the snow will have the most impact on travel. Temperatures will be in the 20s tomorrow afternoon. That band of snow, again, it'll wobble north and south from time to time, but generally stay in central and northern Oneida County along with Herkimer County. The lake effect snow finally winds down tomorrow night as the winds turn into the south. Ahead of the next weather system, this is another clipper for Saturday. It's not as strong as what we saw on Wednesday, but it's the same pattern. Snow, especially north of the Mohawk Valley, followed by a cold front, followed by more lake effect snow heading into Sunday. Let's take a look at the next 24 hours, though. The steadiest snow looks to be just north of the city of Utica, as well as Rome, 5 to 10 inches of accumulation. Again, this is through Saturday morning. 2 to 5 inches across the remainder of Oneida County, the southern half, as well as Herkimer County. From the Route 20 corridor and point south, these areas stay out of the worst of it. A trace to 2 inches of accumulation is expected. Snow showers tonight, a low of 12. Lake effect snow tomorrow. Travel looks tricky, especially north of the Mohawk Valley. 25 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Light snow returns late Saturday, 28. Lake effect snow on Sunday and into early Monday. Temperatures will be in the upper teens to low 20s. It's cold early next week, but there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Well, masked behind clouds. Tuesday's high 26, 35 on Wednesday, up to 43 by Thursday. We'll be right back.
All of this, not one of those nights you want to have power outages.
No, it's cold out. We're in the teens. We have the wind, so we have a wind chill. And we did pick up snow today. We'll start with that. Many areas picking up about 2 to 4 inches of lake effect snow, 6 inches in Ava. And we do expect more snow to linger into tonight. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's windy, it's cold. We're tracking bands of lake effect snow. The current bands are just south of the Mohawk Valley, but these are going to move to the north overnight and start to strengthen. We're still expecting about 4 to 7 inches of accumulation north of the Mohawk Valley tomorrow. So more snow is expected to accumulate, and there will be some tricky travel as well. Temperature of 18 degrees. It feels like 5 with that west-northwest wind, and temperatures will be in the teens overnight, down to 12. So a cold night ahead. Again, tracking lake effect snow. Let you know when things will start to slow down a bit. Look at the forecast coming up. Chase, back to you.
Bill, thank you. To spread some holiday cheer, ICANN.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. We've been tracking snow throughout the course of the day, and at least for now, it's slowing down. The roads are generally wet. It is a different story heading south. That's where the lake effect bands have drifted tonight across Madison, northern Otsego County. We will see a few more bands form tonight and set up generally north of the Mohawk Valley as we head into the day tomorrow. Travel looks to be impacted here, but it's going to be localized. If you're driving north of the Mohawk Valley, you'll be running into some of these lake effect snow bands. And like today with the wind, there could be some localized poor visibility and some localized whiteouts. Today, the city of Utica climbed above 30 inches of snow, 33.4 inches to date. We picked up 3.8 inches in the city, which is more than yesterday. This puts us 19 inches above average. So we are running a huge snowfall surplus so far, and the weather looks pretty active here over the next couple of days. Wind and wind chill. Tomorrow we're looking at highs in the low 20s. The wind chill will be in the low single digits, so it's going to be a very cold day, dressed nice and warm. Bigger picture shows lake effect snow is going to continue. The winds are just favorable. They're moving over Lake Ontario, and that's it. You just need cold air and a steady wind to create lake effect, and we're going to be seeing this happen tonight. The bands will redevelop across central and northern Oneida County as we head into the day tomorrow, and that's where they will generally stay throughout a good portion of the day, and that's where the snowfall will continue. We look at the forecast here. Again, that band pretty much stays across Oneida County, maybe not literally like this. It's like we're having some issues here with Skycast, but that's the general idea. In terms of accumulation, we're thinking a general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation here overnight, and then tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, 4 to 7 inches falls for the central and northern part of Oneida County. Those of you south of Route 20, southern part of Oneida, of Otsego and Chenango County will be missing the brunt of this here throughout the day tomorrow. Snow showers tonight, low temperature of 12. Tomorrow, lake effect snow, 25 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Another clipper arrives on Saturday. This one is bringing light snow late in the day, a high of 28. Lake effect snow returns on Sunday, 20 for the high. This could linger into Monday. It's cold heading into the start of next week. Temperatures in the upper teens during the day and overnight lows in the single digits. Tuesday, we start to turn things around. Cloudy skies, 26, 35 Wednesday, 43 by Thursday. That is going to feel balmy compared to where we've been.
So we're in the teens out there right now. Just a quick update. Some people are getting their power back on, but there's still over 1,800 that don't have power in Washington Mills right now because of those down power lines due to a transformer fire. So we're going to stay on that, but cold weather tonight. Bundle up.
That's right.
All right, coming up next, there's a unique art market in Utica. For biologist Bill Cardis, tracking it all right now. That snow coming tomorrow is going to be more north of Utica, but we saw plenty of snow south of Utica today.
Yeah, and it was enough to cause problems. We saw totals between about 3 to 6 inches region-wide, and again, we're slowly adding this up over the course of time with temperatures staying below freezing. We do have more lake effect snow tonight. Right now, the bands have drifted south, but they're recharging to the northwest. Cooperstown, Oneonta, about ready to get hit with some steadier lake effect snow. This will produce a quick inch or two of accumulation along with poor visibility. Tomorrow, the bands will be concentrated near or north of the Mohawk Valley with several more inches of accumulation. Generally 4 to 7 inches north of the city. Current temperature 17 degrees. It feels like 5, and it's going to stay cold tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the low teens. Snow comes to an end, at least a temporary end, tomorrow night. We've got more snow on the way for the weekend, though. We've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. To spread
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. The roads are wet. Some of them are snow covered, especially south of the Mohawk Valley. We are tracking a band of lake effect snow that is moving into Otsego County, producing a burst of snow between Cooperstown and Oneonta. These bands are heading to the south tonight, and we're expecting more to form as we head into tomorrow. You can actually see some of these starting to organize to the west. So we're not done with lake effect just yet. It will impact travel tomorrow. Maybe not quite as much as today, but if you are traveling north of the Mohawk Valley, do expect to see some snow, snow-covered roads, poor visibility at times with gusty winds, although the winds will be a little bit less than what we saw today. Utica hit 30 inches of snow today, 3.8 inches in the city, 33.4 to date for the season. We are 19 inches above average. This is a very snowy start to the season. You got to go back to the early 2000s before we've seen something this similar. Temperatures are going to be cold as you head into tomorrow. Wind chills will be in the single digits, so dress nice and warm if you're heading out. And we are going to continue to see lake effect snow. The winds will be moving across Lake Ontario, and it's just a cold wind moving over the water that produces lake effect snow showers. And again, we're going to see this continue as we head into tonight. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast. Again, bands of snow will continue generally across Oneida County as we head into the day tomorrow. That band will pretty much hang out in central and northern Oneida County throughout most of the day. Temperatures will be in the 20s. The band will be coming to an end tomorrow night, and the next weather system will be moving in on Saturday. This will be a Clipper system. This one looks a lot lighter than what we dealt with on Wednesday, but we are expecting some additional accumulation of snowfall on Saturday. But let's talk about what happens tonight and tomorrow. Again, it looks like most of the snow will be falling north of the Mohawk Valley, 4 to 7 inches of accumulation for the most part throughout the course of the day and the night. So this is going to be a long duration, generally light snowfall, but again, at times it is going to be pretty slippery if you are traveling to the north, especially on secondary roads. Tonight, snow showers, a low of 12. Tomorrow, lake effect snow, temperatures in the mid-20s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Again, a Clipper arrives Saturday. It is a lot weaker than what we saw Wednesday, but it does bring widespread light snow. Temperatures will be in the low 20s Sunday and Monday. Lake effect snow will redevelop. It looks like the heaviest snow, just looking into the weekend and beyond, is going to be up towards Lewis County, towards Watertown. More of a southwesterly wind this time, but it could be pretty heavy. So the snowmobilers are going to be loving this.
Absolutely. Well, 'tis the season, as they say. All right, thank you, Bill. Coming up next,